Let me do one.
Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to my podcast. I still have yet to pick a name officially. I'm kind of playing with some ideas, but today I have a special guest, Shawn Bolden. He's a fellow Sub 2 student and a veteran, and he's here today to tell us about his story. So, Shawn, if you want to take it away and introduce yourself, we're happy to have you and get to know your real estate journey.
Thank you for having me. My name is Shawn Bolden. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. I recently, well, not recently, but I got out of the Marine Corps in 2015, and I am locally in Jacksonville, North Carolina. That's over here by the Camp Lejeune base, the Marine Corps base. Um, Pretty much, me and my wife started in real estate in 2017. Um, but it's definitely a lot of history behind that. So, in the Marine Corps, I was on a 3-year term at a recruiting station in Norfolk, where I became the boss of the same station I was recruiting at, and I had Marines under my charge. And pretty much that's where I learned all about sales. Um, from there, pretty much I got out of the Marine Corps in 2015 out of Wounded Warriors. I got hurt in Iraq and I had to get out. And I went to school full time, got my bachelor's degree in IT. And after that, I pretty much didn't have anything to do after that. So I was just kind of lazy for a couple of years. And then my wife basically said, "Hey, let's get into real estate." So that's exactly what we did.
Awesome. That's exciting stuff. So, you said 2017. So tell us about kind of where you started and what was your focus when you were first starting?
So when we first started, we were doing wholesaling. My wife wanted to do fix and flip. So, of course, she won that argument on which one we was going to do first. So we did fix and flip, but we were meeting with realtors, looking at properties, and we pretty much got to the point where we was almost buying properties, and then we didn't have the proper funding to scale because we didn't know what to do at that point. But uh, we had a few properties that we were going to take down extremely well in the whole process of her getting everything prepared, all those things. But we tried to get hard money lenders and couldn't find that 10% that you would get from a hard money lender because they would give you the 90% of the deal, but you would have to bring the other 10%. So we pretty much failed in that aspect because we didn't have any idea what we were doing. So we joined the mentorship and paid a lot of money pretty much for no reason because they didn't teach us anything. So to kind of scale back a little bit, I talked her back into wholesaling. So we started doing that for a little bit. And then it just got to a point where it was like us making the phone calls, getting on there, doing cold calling. It was just pretty much at a point where it was like, oh, this is getting tiring. I hate doing this. So I was just watching YouTube like I usually do to find all the information about real estate. And I came up on a guy named Case Morby. I was watching Jerry Norton, I was watching Jamil Damsley, I was watching Brent Daniels, but I started to see this guy pop up a lot. And he was on the wholesale hotline with Jamil and Brent. So I was like, who is this guy? I never heard of him. So like the day I seen him, I got up quickly on the phone because he was talking about buying things creatively, subject to seller finance, getting into deals without using any of your money. And that was intriguing to me because that was our downfall in fixing and flipping. So once I seen him, I immediately got on the phone and joined uh, the next day, pretty much. And I had to talk my wife into it because we we put so much money into all of these mentorships where it was just difficult to come back from. Our credit was shot, and she didn't want to put more money into something. So of course we did um, the financing plan to get into sub two, which I think it was probably the greatest move I have ever did as far as investing in myself, because as soon as I got in there, I meet people like Tanisha, I meet people like Keston, Jason, all these different people. Caroline, who is amazing, who does the morning daily dials. And pretty much I was talking to all those people. That's when I met Munif, and he pretty much, I was getting on the hook with them every morning, and he was telling me like, hey, you got a gift for this. And he was like, you're gonna be better than me one day. And I was like, nah, that's no way. I was like, you too smooth. And just just listening to all these guys, all these people who helped. I mean, I can shout out names for days, but as a matter of fact, tomorrow will be my 2 year mark into sub two. So I'm just very appreciative of all those who were there before me and taught me, as far as learning this whole game. Chester out in Illinois, he was pretty much one of the first people who reached out to me and helped me, figure some things out. And then, I just, it was just a beautiful thing, because, Keston, he does like the mindset Zooms on Tuesdays. And I was still stuck in my ways of, not getting out of my shell, trying to talk to people. But me and him had a conversation on the daily dial one day, and I told him the real reason on my why of getting into real estate and everything else. One, my family, and my children, they were they was always looking up to what I was doing. I was a big gamer. Uh, I drank a lot. I used to go to like 3 handles of Jack Daniels a week. Three. I'm talking about the big bottles a week. And I drank because I liked to drink. It wasn't that I was just out of pocket or anything going crazy. It was just something I like to do. Like the taste of Jack Daniels, and that was it. But one day, my friend came over, and we was all around in my house. Uh, we was outside, and we was by the bonfire, and my kids, they playing on the trampoline, and then my son came down and sat down, my oldest. He was like, hey, Dad, I'm gonna be just like you when I go get older. I'll be a gamer and drink. And I was like, wait a minute, this is not, no, I can't do this. So even him being at the age that he was, he couldn't see all the things that I've done before to get to this place where we're at now, where we have a house, home, cars, whatever. He didn't see my life in the Marine Corps, where I had to do all those things to get where I'm at. It didn't matter to him because he's young, so he's only figuring out what he's seeing right now. And pretty much after that, it was like something just clicked in my head. And matter of fact, it was right around this time, and I pretty much joined. And the day I joined, I never touched a drink again.
Wow.
Still to this day, I've never touched a drink again. So, and what is it? Because, you know, I would say I'm an alcoholic or anything like that. It's just I like the taste, but it was the fact that, one, I wanted to save money, and well, I would say that's the second thing. One is because I didn't want my kids seeing that anymore and think that's something that they should be doing. And two, I just wanted to save money, so I just quit cold turkey. But after that, it was just, you know, I pretty much just fell forward, got with some people in sub two, I remember making a post saying who wants to go half on a VA, because of course Pace was giving out a lot of content, which was great. And he pretty much said, you know, you need to collaborate with other students. And I think I was watching the Zero to Hero, and he was basically telling us to collaborate with other students, go in on a VA together. So that's what I did. And I put out a post saying, "Hey, let's go in on a VA together." And pretty much three people hit me up. Um, a lot of y'all know Jada, Steve out in South Carolina, and Mike, who's out in California. So pretty much we all got together, paid for a VA, and pretty much collaborated. And that was my journey into sub two.
Oh, I love that. I love hearing about your story and the background and how you got involved in the community. I get one thing I wanted to ask, because you mentioned you were a part of another mentorship before. Like, what do you see is like the main difference in like that versus sub two, and like, how it's kind of changed your trajectory of your journey?
Oh, that's easy. Community. They didn't have a community like we do in sub two.
Yeah.
There was no collaborating. You couldn't speak to other members. If you did speak to other members and they found out, you were cut from the group. So, and I think that Pace understood that with a lot of the mentorships that he's been a part of. And he basically said, I'm going to create something that's going to blow everybody's mind and no one will be able to compete. And that's exactly what he did. He basically created a community where not only that we can collaborate in JV together, but in some ways or another, these are the greatest friendships that I've started and created within Sub 2. So, you know, one of my partners right now is still one of the same guys I'm still with, and I still collaborate with the others as well. So it's like these are the greatest friendships built off of this community, and I never would have got that if I was in the other mentorships.
Yeah. Yeah, and I totally agree with you about the community. And since I haven't been in any other mentorships, I'm lucky enough that this was my first one and only one. But if it wasn't for the community and the people, and I mean the amount of friends that I've made in the last few months and collaborated with and now on a team with, it's just it's really hard to explain to people that aren't in sub two. I mean, it's not hard to, but like they don't fully grasp like what I'm
Yeah.
trying to talk about. So yeah, that's awesome. Well, I just kind of wanted to ask a little bit about, we've kind of talked about your journey and how you got to where you are, but what are you doing right now, and what are you looking for?
Hmm. So what I'm doing right now is a lot of things. I'm trying to take a step back and reevaluate what I'm doing in my business and with the people I'm doing business with. You know, when I joined, I did some wholesale deals. Did my first sub two deal, lease option, seller finance. Pretty much once I got in, I started looking into multifamily. So it was like, I believe Pace calls it the, what he says when you're all over the place. It's basically
Oh,
that
like
shiny out.
shiny, yeah, shiny object, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So pretty much what I had was that shiny object syndrome. But to let everybody know, it is okay to have a shiny object syndrome, because that's your way of trying to figure out if that is your niche or not. You know, it is basically just picking what you like. And me as a father, when my kids want to do different sports, I let them try every single thing to find out what they like the best. And once they figure out which one they like the best, then I can see the progression if they put 100% into that one thing that they're doing. So it's the same thing as far as me finding my niche within the sub two community and all the things that are valuable in that community. So I just been picking and choosing on what I like. I understand that multifamily is the biggest goal, but I also have a dream to, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's a dream that's going to happen. I speak it into existence. Sooner or later, I'm going to get into land development. So that's one of the things that I've been working on as well, by not putting it all my eggs in one basket, but I'm just learning different things from the Marines that's here in my area. They're all land developers. So it's a community out here that deals in real estate over here. And all of them are special forces Marines, and pretty much they all are land developers. So they do that. And pretty much what I've been doing to kind of build my portfolio is, just buying and holding. I don't wholesale, but I buy and hold, and I try to pick the deals around here to, one, use it for veterans. That is my biggest thing. I despise seeing homeless veterans. So that is actually my second why on why I got into real estate. I wanted to do something that will get homeless veterans off the street and give them a place to stay, some kind of mental capacity so they can move forward in their journey. Because when you're in the military, there is a lot of help that they give you, but financial literacy is not really taught as much, just like it's not taught in schools. And I want to be able to show that to the veterans that come across my way. And I give them opportunities to stay in my places. Most of the Airbnbs that I have, of course, 100% veterans can stay in my properties. Uh, Shared living, I'm starting to switch over to that. I know we do a lot of pad splits in sub two, partnering with these guys. So I'm looking into doing those things. Right now, I have about 6 properties right now in this area, and some are long term, some are short term, but we're starting to transition into midterm rentals. And my wife, she takes care of all of that. So she's the one that is our property manager, our project manager. She deals with all the contractors, everything, getting people in our properties as far as renters. We used to just, accept anybody who was qualified to get in our properties. Excuse me. But now we're looking to just only put veterans in these properties. So we're going through a company called HUD-Bash that is that deals with the VA and all those guys, and they pretty much help veterans find a place to stay.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love hearing about that and your story. And for people that are watching this later, tell us how they can find you and reach out to you and maybe help support your cause and squad up with you.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Shawn Bolden. I'm out there on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at BZY Investor. Um, I'm out here, and I forgot to tell you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an integrator. That's something that I want to have in my business. I just want to turn my ideas into life. So that's what I'm looking for, and y'all can find me on those social platforms. Shawn Bolden, find me on Facebook. I do message back, but I also ask everyone this: if you do add me as a friend, please just send a message, because that is one of my pet peeves, when someone sends a friend request and they don't even send a message at all. I would love for that to be something that everyone starts to implement in their networking, because it's like knocking on a door. you're not just going to come into someone's house without introducing yourself. So just please be aware of that.
Awesome. Well, yeah, you guys heard it. You can find him on Facebook, and he's looking for an integrator. So if you're an integrator or know anyone that is, head over to Facebook and find Shawn. So thanks for coming on the podcast today and telling us about your journey and where you've been and where you're headed. And look forward to talking to you another time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.